Today on the CTV News at 5, dial-a-dope drug bust. Why police say some people come to the city just to run their illegal business. Plus, logging protesters continue their battle against clear-cutting at Beaver Mines. And
I pledge my head to clear thinking, my heart to greater loyalty.
Celebrating 4-H's Canadian Centennial.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Police have busted a dial-a-dope operation in Lethbridge. 2 Edmonton men are facing charges. Police say that a 3-month-long investigation resulted in crack cocaine, marijuana, and more than $15,000 in cash being seized from a home in the 3600 block of 23rd Avenue South. Investigators say the residence was being rented by a group of people who were traveling back and forth between Lethbridge and Edmonton. They say groups often operate in cells in more than one community, and members change from time to time.
We're having groups of individuals that are coming to our community to operate their business, their illegal business. What they'll do is they'll rent an apartment, use that as their crash pad, as their stash pad for their to contain their money and their drugs, and then they operate out of their vehicles throughout the city in various parking lots. No different than ordering a pizza. You call the number and you order what you need for crack cocaine, and then you meet at a previously agreed spot.
The arrests were made with the help of the Alert Unit. 24-year-old Kevin Paccio and 24-year-old Dane Lewis are each charged with 2 counts of possession for the purpose of trafficking and proceeds of crime. Police say they have identified 2 other group members and their investigation is continuing. Meanwhile, a 25-year-old man has been charged in connection with a weekend stabbing in Lethbridge. Keith Allen Lee was arrested in the downtown area after a fight early Saturday morning. Police were called after a 41-year-old man walked into a business and then collapsed. The man was released from hospital just today. Lee made a court appearance on several charges today as well, including aggravated assault and assault with a weapon. And a 17-year-old Lethbridge boy was released on $100 cash bail today. He was charged in connection to the lockdown at Winston Churchill High School back on Thursday. The boy can't be identified because of his age. He faces a number of charges, including assault, uttering threats, mischief, and causing a disturbance. It's alleged that back on Thursday that the teen started yelling threats at some other high school students. Because of the behavior, the school initiated a lockdown and regional police arrested the youth without incident. The boy will be back on course on February the 6th. Funeral service was held today for a Lethbridge man who was stabbed to death in his home just last week. 58-year-old George Robert Spann is the city's first homicide of 2013. Regional police say he was last seen alive on Sunday and was found dead Monday when an acquaintance concerned about his well-being went to his house. Police are calling the death a targeted crime. Family members say they can't understand why anyone would take Spann's life. They say he was actually being treated for cancer but was doing well at work and had a good relationship with his daughter and neighbors. Family members requested those attending Spann's funeral today to wear a splash of color to honor his colorful spirit. A semi-truck driver is okay after an explosive collision with a freight train carrying crude oil. It happened Saturday afternoon east of Tilly. The impact caused an explosion and fire. The 67-year-old truck driver was treated by EMS but was not seriously injured.
All I know is he was traveling a very slow rate of speed, and everything else is still under investigation. When the driver when he finally saw the train, he actually jumped out of the truck, and he was okay after that.
Workers on the CP locomotive were also treated for some minor injuries. And the trial of a former Redcliffe teacher accused of sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl has wrapped up, and the teacher has been acquitted. 32-year-old Bradley Mastel pleaded not guilty to 5 sex assault charges. The teacher was found acquitted after he was charged from last February's incident. He has said all along that the two were just watching a movie in his car when police found he and a 14-year-old girl in his vehicle. And we're also learning now that the fight over logging west of Pincher Creek was back before the courts. Yesterday, close to 100 people rallied to protect the land. The area is one of the most biodiverse in the province and is considered a core grizzly bear habitat. Brendan Miller reports.
Time for a shift. It's time for a change in management and a time for a change in legal designation of the land.
Concerned residents held a rally in Beaver Mines to oppose clear-cut logging that got underway earlier this winter. They say the Alberta government has not honored their promise to protect the Castle region, and just because logging is already in progress, they're not giving up.
We hope to get back to court very soon to argue the substantive issues, and we will be arguing that the current logging is illegal and that it should be stopped.
15 years ago, the castle was declared a special place by the province, but the area has still not received final legal designation as a protected area.
It really is old business that should be completed first. So while that planning process is a good thing in and of itself, the castle really is old business to be completed before we proceed with that.
The province has put the next 2 years of logging on hold, but environmentalists would like to see logging cancelled permanently in the region.
The Alberta government has to recognize that until we have a complete reform of forestry practices along the southern eastern slopes, we're going to keep having this conversation valley by valley, creek by creek, place by place. We
think that water, wildlife, recreation, and wilderness-based businesses are, for the most part, a much better use of our forests than, in this case, a few 2x4s and some garden mulch.
Brendan Miller, CTV News, Beaver Mines.
The group was in Calgary Court of Queen's Bench today for a scheduled hearing. Okay, Dory, I was talking to my dad earlier today back in Manitoba, and he was telling me just how crazy cold it is into the -40s with the wind chill. Oh.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you think of Manitoba and cold, you think of, you know, Churchill areas to the north. But actually, your dad's right. All those warnings are right along the southern half of the province of Manitoba. We're not in those sorts of dire situations here. We've got actually temperatures moving up the scale over the next couple of days. I'll tell you all about it in a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Dory. Well, if you're feeling a bit down today is technically Blue Monday. It's supposed to be the most depressing day of the year because those credit card debts have started to come in. Chances are most of us have broken those New Year's resolutions and, well, we're in the middle of winter. So with the credit card debt, though, you're not alone. As we mentioned, Christmas bills are pouring in, looking for solutions for all of us to help manage it. Jeanette Rocher reports.
It's been almost a month since the Christmas rush, but the aftermath is just beginning. Credit card bills are starting to roll in. According to Stats Canada, personal debt rose to a record high in 2012, leaving consumers vulnerable if something goes wrong, like the loss of a job or hours.
I usually have a budget in my mind, and I stick pretty close to it. It wavers a little bit here and there, but not too much.
I just kind of know what I want to buy and try to stick to that and not chop too much extra. Having a 3-year-old now, it's a little harder to stick within what you want.
For Brian Vares, these stories are all too familiar. As a bankruptcy trustee, he's seen and heard it all.
People seem to be of the mind if they can make their minimum payments, they're okay. And my argument isn't they're not okay.
The biggest problem he sees are consumers with mortgages plus a vehicle or two, then add the holiday season to the equation.
What happens is their income is enough to barely make those payments, and to make the difference, they get a line of credit or they get credit cards because credit is cheap and it's easy to get.
His advice?
Very simple, live within your means.
Track your expenses, work out a budget.
Barb Kennedy is a coordinator at Money Mentors, a nonprofit with a mission to help Albertans get out of debt.
That's where people are paying back their unsecured credit and the interest is reduced to 5%.
And according to Vares, once you rebuild your credit, you should keep track of it all because even the smallest amount can cause problems.
You have to plan for the future. If you're carrying a mortgage, that should be your primary debt and there should be really no other debt.
Jeanette Rocher, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Money Mentors offers free public workshops every month. You can check them out online at moneymentors.ca. 4-H clubs across the country are marking a milestone.
I pledge my head to clear thinking, my heart to greater loyalty.
2013 marks the 100th year of the 4-H Club in Canada. This weekend, displays, games, and crafts were set up at Exhibition Park to highlight some of the achievements of the club over the past century. Organizers say the club offers more than just agricultural education. They say they also help build the leaders of tomorrow.
That's the really exciting part as leaders. I know that we watch these kids' growth and development through their 4-H career, and it's an awesome program, and that's one of our sort of the things that we're really proud of is the leaders that we produce from this program.
4-H builds kids into great leaders. Some of the best kids that I know came from 4-H. They're just so helpful, and they're ready to help with do anything you need them to do.
While 4-H is celebrating 100 years in Canada, they won't celebrate 100 years in Alberta until 2017. Robbie Burns Day is coming up, and a pre-celebration was held this weekend at the Galt Museum. Burns is one of Scotland's most well-known poets and songwriters. This year commemorates his 254th birthday. To celebrate, guests enjoyed performances from the Highland Dancers and music by the Legion Pipe Band. There was also poetry reading and the always popular Scotch tasting. Organizers say the event is a great way to celebrate Scottish culture.
Lethbridge has a really big Scottish community, and we're trying to reach out to that Scottish community with doing this. We've been doing this for a few years now, and it's great to see. You look around, there's a lot of people in kilts here tonight. There's a lot of Scottish in the room tonight, which is fantastic.
Robert Burns' birthday is actually January the 25th. In the markets today, Wall Street was closed for Martin Luther King Day, but Bay Street was open.